Hello everyone, my name is Vipra Joshi and I am an assistant professor in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management in Electrical Engineering Department. Today I am going to deliver a lecture on subject of computer aided electric machine design. In this video I will be explain design of synchronous machine. This is unit 3rd topic of 6th semester in electrical engineering branch. Design of synchronous machine. We know that synchronous machine work on Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. So it is based on the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, which is E is equal to, we know that what is Faraday law, E is equal to d phi by dt. It means rate of change of flux with respect to time produce EMF. Okay, so synchronous machine has two types. First is salient pole machine and second is non-salient pole machine. It is depending on the which type of rotor we used for the machine construction. Okay, so in the salient pole machine, they are usually adopted in hydroelectrical turbine and it is driven by the water wheel or diesel engine. They are useful for the low speed, approximately around the 400 rpm. So silent pole machine we used where we have to need low speed application, which is around the 400 rpm. And on the other hand, non-silent pole machine are used for the high speed applications. The rotor are driven by steam engine and gas turbine, which run at the very high speed, and they have a slot outer periphery of a smooth cylindrical rotor. Selection of number of slots. The number of slots are to properly selected because of number of slot affect the cost and performance of the machine. It means number of slot affected by the cost and performance of the machine. So it is necessary to choose a proper selection of number of slots. There are no rule for selecting the number of slots. But looking into the advantage and disadvantage of higher number of slot, suitable number of slot per pole per phase is selected. So as we want, we choose suitable number of slot per pole per phase. Now number of slot has some disadvantage over higher cost. Okay, and teeth become mechanically weak and higher flux density in the teeth, and slot loading must be less than 1500 AC per slot. Next is slot pitch. Slot pitch defined as the arc length between the two slots on the stator. We can say in the machine in the inner periphery, means in the inner circle, the distance between the, here you can say we have a inner slot. Okay, so it is defined as the arc length between the two slots. So the length between the two slot is called the slot pitch. Now it has some limitation. The slot pitch on the low voltage machine is 3.5 centimeter, and medium voltage machine which is up to 6 kilowatt, the slot pitch dimension is 5.5 centimeter, and for high voltage machine up to 15 kilovolt it is used 7.5 centimeter. Number of slots. Now, number of slots per pole per phase for salient pole machine may be taken as 3 to 4. It means 3 to 4 slots are selected for the salient pole machine as per pole per phase. Okay, and for alternator, turbo alternator, it may be selected as much higher in order of 7 to 9 slot per pole per phase, and for the frictional slot winding we are selected as a friction 3.5 per pole per phase. Now dimension of stator slot. The width of the slot equal to slot pitch minus tooth pitch, and the flux density in the stator tooth should not exceed 1.8 to 2.0 Tesla. It means stator tooth flux density should not exceed 1.8 to 2.0 Tesla, and internal diameter of salient pole machine is very large, so the flux density does not vary appropriately. We can say the flux density does not vary appreciably along the depth of the tooth. Next is tooth width estimate at the middle section of the tooth. Here for the machine we use the middle section for calculating, and for estimating the width of the tooth we calculate width along the middle section of the tooth. Now the flux density should not exceed 1.8 Tesla. In case of turbo generator, or we can say alternator, width of tooth estimated at the top section. In case of turbo generator, we estimate the flux at the tooth width at the top section of the machine, or maybe estimate at the air gap, because in turbo generator variation of flux density along the depth of the slot is appreciable. Now for the salient pole alternator, flux density at the middle section. Okay, and in turbo generator we calculate flux density at the top section. Okay, so for the salient pole machine, flux density at the middle section equal to flux per pole per width of the tooth at the middle section into iron length into number of teeth per pole arc, and here number of teeth per pole arc calculated by pole arc upon slot pitch, and we know that slot pitch is the arc length between the slots of the stator. And for the turbo generator, flux density we estimate at the top section, so we estimate it by flux per pole per width of the tooth at the top section into iron length into number of teeth per pole pitch. So these are the formula for the flux density calculation. Now the next is length of mean turn. Mean length turn means sometimes we called it mean length of per turn. It means we calculate mean length per turn and we define it is mean length of the winding turn in the coil. So at first we calculate how much mean length of the winding turn. Now the length of the mean turn depends on the following factor. First is gross length of the stator core. Each turn consists of 2 times of gross length of the stator core. And next is pole pitch. The arc length between the two adjacent poles on the stator inner circle is called the pole pitch. So if we the factor is depend upon the pole pitch, here the overhang portion of the coil depend on the coil span, and so in turns it is depend upon the pole pitch. But what is the coil span factor? Coil span factor is the ratio of voltage generated in the short circuit coil. We can say short circuit pitch coil. Okay, pitch coil to the voltage generated in the full pitch coil. So when we calculate the ratio between the voltage generated at the short circuit pitch coil upon voltage generated at the full pitch coil, then we can calculate the coil span, and it is also depend the pole pitch. So we can say the mean length depend upon the pole pitch. Next is voltage on the machine. So it is depend upon the voltage of the machine, the turn. Okay. Next is straight length beyond the stator core, which depend upon the voltage rating of the machine. And next is slot dimension. Length per turn depend upon the average size of the slot. So we can say it is depend upon the slot dimension because it depend on the size of the slot. Hence we represented the mean length per turn is double layer winding of synchronous machine is estimated by this formula. It is length of mean turn equal to 2L plus 2.5 into pole pitch plus 0.06 kV plus 0.2. Now what is the output equation for the synchronous machine? The mean dimension of the synchronous machine is depend upon the internal diameter and gross length of the stator. Okay, so in order to obtain the main dimension, it is required to develop a relationship between the output and the main dimension of the machine. So this relation is known as the output equation. But output equation of the synchronous machine is same as the output equation of the AC machine. Now we know that in three-phase synchronous generator, the output Q is denoted by the 3 into VPH into IPH into 10 to the power minus 3 in kVA, kilovolt ampere. So here we assume that induced EMF is EPH. So we can put the value of EPH in place of VPH. Then the output equation become 3 into EPH into IPH into 10 to the power minus 3 into kVA. Here EPH is the induced voltage in phase and current IPH equal to current in phase. Now we know that induced EMF formula is 4.44 F phi TPH into kW. Okay, so if we calculate, means if we put the value of TPH here, it is ZPH over 2, because every conductor consists of 2 turns. So here the value for this is 2.22 F into phi into ZPH into kW. Now we know that frequency generated in RPM is P into Ns upon 120 and in RPS is Pn upon 2. So we put these value in this equation and we know that air flux per pole phi equal to B average pi dl upon P, and specific electrical loading is denoted by the 3 into IPH into ZPH upon pi d. So by here we can put the value of phi and we put the value of IPH into ZPH. Okay, so we know that these are the formula we derived in the first topic. Okay, so now the output equation become Q equal to 3 into 2.22 into Pn upon 2 into BAV pi dl upon P into ZPH into kW into IPH into 10 to the power minus 3 kVA, because the value of EPH now we put in this equation. So here we have IPH into ZPH. Okay, so from both formula we put these value in this equation, and also we take all terms in bracket which is constant. So we have a value is 3 into IPS into ZPS into 10 to the power minus 3. So when we put the value of a specific electrical loading and flux, then we get the value of it is Q equal to 1.11 pi square d square L BAV Q kW into Ns into 10 to the power minus 3 into kVA. So the all terms are constant, so we denoted it by the C naught. Okay, so the output equation become C naught into D square into L Ns, means speed in RPS, into Ns, okay, which is denoted in kVA. And here we can make the formula for D square L equal to Q, means output equation upon C naught into Ns. Okay, so it is the meter cube. Now C naught value is 1.1 BAV into Q into kW into 10 to the power minus 3, where VPH equal to phase voltage, IPH equal to phase current, and EPH equal to induced EMF per phase. So this is our final equation for the synchronous machine output. And here ZPH denoted by the number of conductor per phase per stator, and TPH equal to number of turn per phase, and synchronous speed in RPM denoted by the Ns, and synchronous speed in RPS denoted by the small ns, and P is the number of pole, and Q is the specific electrical loading, and phi is the air gap flux per pole, and BAV average flux density, and kW is the winding factor which is constant. So these are the equations parameter for the output of the synchronous machine, output voltage of the synchronous machine. Thank you.